year. Many people in the district are excited about the fact that there is a woman running. We've never had a woman candidate at all in the district, let alone a strong woman candidate who has the credentials in order to do a good job in this particular role. And so I think people are excited. I have been met with excitement in every county of the district. In fact, I bumped into a lady in Darke County who said she used to be a staffer to John Boehner, and she was excited to have a woman running in the district. She didn't care that I was a Democrat. She was just excited that there was a woman who was running for this seat. And, quite frankly, she said that the person who has the seat currently, that he doesn't have the compassion or the care for the community the same way John Boehner did. That was her words. And so I am hopeful that there are more people across the district. There are people working on my campaign who are traditional Republican voters, and they have vowed that they are going to do everything they can to get me in office. And so I'm excited about those kinds of things, because what that says to me is that people are willing to lay partisan politics aside for the sake of ensuring that our democracy is saved. I truly believe that our democracy is at stake this year. And if we don't make some different choices, we will see the continual decline of our democracy. We'll see, systemic abuse becoming the norm. We've already seen so much abuse, and it's the opportunity for citizens to take matters into their hands and to say enough is enough. And it's only through the power of the vote that people have the opportunity to do that.
You mentioned a little bit about people volunteering for the campaign. In your race, like a lot of races around the country, the incumbent Republican has a lot of money to work with. What are the ways that you're running your campaign in a way where it doesn't require as much money as the Republicans are spending to try to win these seats?
The great thing about our campaign is it is a people-powered campaign. And the wonderful thing about the people who are working in our campaign is they are passionate and they are willing to do whatever they need to do to ensure that we win this seat. And I'm excited about that. I don't see the same kind of passion coming from the other side. And I think, when it comes to a race like this, that it is important that people are desiring to see change and that people are willing to work to ensure that we put people in the seat that can really represent the district. I think that, at the end of the day, I would rather have the votes than, the money on any given day. Money is a tool, and certainly a tool that is, can be very, very helpful in these campaigns. But I've seen across the country where Republicans have outspent Democrats 10-1, and Democrats still win the seat. So I am encouraged by those kinds of things because our people are working really hard. There are people working to help get me elected that I'm not even aware of. There are people who stood at the polls and on election day. There are people to advocate for me. There are people who across this district who have worked diligently since I ran in the primary. And I ran in the primary against 3 men, and I know for sure one of those men outspent me significantly, and yet I still won 58% of the vote. And so we are looking at those kinds of, outcomes, and we understand that sometimes, what money can't do, passion can, and we have some very passionate people who are working on this campaign. We also have some very experienced people working in the campaign. I've had numerous years of experience of running campaigns. My campaign manager has been a candidate before, and our campaign team, many of us have been engaged in campaigns before. And so we do have experienced individuals who understand how to run a campaign. And the other thing is, we understand how to run a strategic campaign, and that's what we're doing. We're running a very strategic campaign where the guy I'm running against previously had not really done much in the communities or for the communities, and we see now him lending rhetoric to a conversation about the things that people are concerned about in the community. And I think it's too late. I mean, this is something he should have been doing when he took the seat. He should have been representing the individuals in the district as opposed to representing special interests, representing big money and corporations. And I believe that people are fed up. We are hearing people say they're fed up. So I hope that that translates to a vote in November to ensure that I am the person who will go and represent this district come January.
Is there anything else that you would like to make sure that we talk about?
I think one of the major points for me that I have been talking about throughout the district as I've talked to people and I've been hearing from people as they talk about is the importance of understanding that when an individual takes money from special interests and corporations, that they are beholden to those special interests and to those corporations. In this particular case, the people in the district are frustrated about the proposed loss of financial aid to working class and middle class people, poor people. And so people have voiced their opinions on that issue. And if you look closely at who the person I'm running against is taking money from, he's taking money from the private student loan industry, which is a tremendous concern because that lets you know already where his loyalties will lie. He's taking money from, these groups and these corporations, and we've already seen he is bragging about the rollback in the regulations that protect our water and protect our environment. And one such rollback happened to be legislation that allows corporations to dump corporate waste into our waterways. That is very concerning. They're dumping coal waste. They'll have the opportunity to dump coal waste in our waterways again. We're already dealing with water crisis in Flint, Michigan, and West Virginia, and places across the country. And I don't think that rolling back legislation that enable the corporate dumping into the water benefits any of us in communities. And so I hope that people will pay particular attention to who he is beholden to, because that gives us an indication of what we're in for. We are dealing with a cancer crisis across our district. Clark County has one of the highest rates of cancer in the country, and that area, really, that entire area. So I hope that people will pay attention because, as many people know, carcinogens do travel in waterways. And, we are looking at an opportunity to replace individuals in Congress who are not taking our best interest at heart. And I hope that people will pay attention and that they will cast a vote without regard to partisan politics, because that has been the case traditionally, that they will take a lead from many of the Republican leaders who are saying that we cannot do what we've always done. If we want to do something different, we have to make different decisions. We have to approach these things from a nonpartisan perspective and to ensure that we put new leadership in place who are going to be beholden to the people and not to corporations and special interests. And I think that's the most important message that I'd want to convey to voters in this district.
And if our listeners would like to help you with volunteering or donating, how can they do that?
They can visit my website at enochforcongress.com. That's ENOCH for Congress.com. And they can donate right there on the website. They can volunteer on the website. They can request signs on the website. They can make donations and get T-shirts on the website. So everything's right there on the website. I would also encourage people to join us on our Facebook page, Dr. Vanessa Enoch for U.S. Congress, on our Facebook page, on our Twitter at Dr. V. Enoch, V as in Vanessa, Enoch, Enoch, Dr. V. Enoch. So all of our social media is accessible from our webpage as well. So if they will sign up for our newsletter and they will join us on those social media sites, people can find out how they can get involved in the campaign. And I mean, involvement in a campaign could mean something as small as continuing to share information with your friends, making sure people get out to vote. But prior to getting out to vote, they have to make sure they're still registered, because across the state of Ohio, the Secretary of State purged so many people from our voter rolls. And people, if they've moved, they need to be reminded to go and get registered again. And I would say anybody listening to this podcast to make sure you take 8 people to the polls with you. Make sure 8 people are registered to vote. And you will be doing so much for ensuring that this campaign is able to be successful.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for running, and thank you for speaking with me. It's really great to hear that there are such fantastic candidates all over Ohio.
Well, thank you so much for interviewing me, and you have a wonderful day.
Thanks for listening to Two Broads Talking Politics. Our theme song is called Are You Listening? Off of the album Elephant Shaped Trees by the band Immunuri, and we're using it with permission of the band. Our logo and other original artwork is by Matthew Wethlin and was created for use by this podcast.